And before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and say, since we got some questions, if you don't mind speaking a little bit on both of these.
No problem.
And then that way.
You want me to stand there so I can see all the spaces? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just want to see yours.
Well, I want to shut up. That's what I mean.
Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No, it's okay.
I figured you better do it now.
I know last time y'all had some questions that Jim can answer. I'll be happy to answer any of those questions. I'm working with the Braveheart. Recently, we've changed the route up too, so we can promote more of downtown Franklin. We're going to start and finish right out here this year. All the merchants on Main Street have backed us up recently. Majority of them actually became sponsors. They stepped up this past week to become sponsors. So we have their support on Main Street also. And it'd be great to have you guys help us out too in any way.
So 75% of your participants are from out of
Yes.
town? I think one of the big questions we had last week was just looking at the budget here. You were showing $6,000 of cash coming in, and the event only costing $1,050 to put on.
With $35 on race day is entry fee, and then $750 is your cost for the shirts, and then also for your awards, and then also the time come. Actually, I talked to her recently. She lowered her price down to $550. I apologize. I did not look this over. I was working with Jim and them over the budget. So.
I guess what we were getting at is, between your entry fees and sponsorships and whatnot, you well exceeded the cost of the event already. So, the $3,000 that.
Well, the $3,000 more than anything would go towards advertisement throughout. From Blue Ridge Outdoor Magazine, Runner's World.
So those aren't in your budget?
No.
Anywhere yet?
No.
Okay.
So we have Blue Ridge Outdoor Magazine, we have Runner's World, we have all the various running magazines. Recently I just went over to Greenville, South Carolina, and sat there all day at 3 different shoe stores and hand out entry forms.
Wow.
So, I apologize. I did not look over the budget with the Scotch Art Museum.
Okay.
Like I said, it's always been dear to my heart. I just let them do it. But like I said, I talked recently. Like I said, we've lowered our price down for the timing. Originally, when the 5K started up 5 years ago, it was $1,500 for the timing company itself. And then and then I found somebody new, and went down to, like I said, $550. And I would love to. You could do a traditional stopwatch, but you're going to have all these 155 people all packed together and try to decide who's this and who's that.
So your $3,000 that you're asking for is strictly the advertising?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And that's the same for the other race as well, the hippity hop?
I'm not. Like I said, I'm just helping them out with that one.
Okay.
I'm just doing all the 5K stuff for them. I'm not sure what their budget was for that one.
But then you also did have T-shirts in here.
Okay, I didn't sit down with them. I apologize. Like I said, the shirt's about $750. So we're looking at like I said, 155 people.
Any other questions, guys? What do you have for Dave?
Like I said, we'd be happy. Any donation. Even if you guys said, you know what, Dave, here's $500. We're gonna help you out with advertising. That's okay too. Anything that helps out, that helps promote the race. Our main goal is to attract visitors here downtown. So even if y'all want, you know what, all we can give is $500. That's perfect. I'll find some magazine, something to will advertise for us for $500. I don't care. Like I said, it's a fun race. It's my best race that I like to host, and I think the whole town loves it. I've not heard one negative person. Every year I have people going, you can do Father's Day weekend. That's the biggest one too. So I think we don't know what's going to go on with Taste Scotland. We don't know where it's at. But this is something to attract these people downtown that are visiting from Florida and Georgia. And I think if we advertise well, we'll be amazed what we have and how many merchants on Main Street, they're watching everybody buy stuff on Main Street as they had the Braveheart sale or something like that. The ultimate dream is, like I said, to see it go over 1,000 like this past weekend at St. Patty's race. 1,000 people was racing, and that was in Greenville.
Wow.
Just the important thing is we're just asking you to help us with keeping the history, keeping the heritage alive, and keeping it downtown. And like I said, $500, $700, whatever you feel comfortable with, we could use it. we apologize in the past because we, as y'all know, the history of the museum, the former director and all that stuff, we don't have records. I wish I had records to present to you and go, here's what we had from the past, but we don't have that.
Well, we appreciate you coming.
So, and we hope,
answering the questions.
thank you guys, hope y'all support us and help us out anyway.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Dave.
Blake. What do we have that's not committed as far as money?
We'll move on to there, and we'll get to
Okay.
the so I was just going to
Okay.
here before we went on to approve this. So we'll go back to the minutes from February. Everybody get a chance to look over this. Motion to approve. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, moving on to the financial report. Okay. The first thing, if you'll notice for the collections for the past month, they were $4,398.08. Net collections from July until current, we've collected $63,782.14. Budgeted expenses for this year, we budgeted $118,400. So far, as you can see, let's see, if you take the commitments, what we've spent, you have a remaining balance of $84,744.60. Now, I will tell you this, that number reflects a little bit differently in the page that Matt was inquiring about as far as what do we have left that's free. If you take the $8,880 that we paid from last year to that was a final payment made from last year's budget, that's where the variation is. And I'll go over that when we get to that page. But one positive note on the comparisons, this is the best year that the TDA has saw for the month of January since 2009-2010, which is a positive. And then if you want to keep flipping over, if you'll notice where our budget is, this is where we allotted all our funding, and this takes out that $8,880. So this is a more accurate picture. What we have left for festivals and events, you have remaining, you've spent $21,855.40, and that breaks down up top where that was spent. So you have a remaining balance of $8,144.60. And then, of course, you can break it down, your Atlanta billboards, your Pandora, your Facebook, Google AdWords, Allison, your audit and bond, and then the Charlotte Chamber. Does that help? Does that answer your question too, not that you were asking?
Yeah.
It was for me. Okay.
We basically have $8,000 left in festivals.
You can have a motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Moving on to subcommittee report. I don't think we have anything for finance budget. Policy and rules of procedure, Vicki's not here. I don't think, and do we have any more applications? No. There hasn't been. Okay. So moving on to old business. The Bray Park 5K race. Has anybody ever ran in that race?
I haven't.
I'm not in
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to. Well, my biggest issue, I'm not necessarily opposed to giving some money for advertising, but the budget is, per his words, the budget's not even right. So,
The gist is he's going to use whatever we give him
yeah,
to promote it.
and I agree. I'm not opposed to granting him some money right now, but his budget's, close to right. But I don't think we let anybody else do that. I think it's a great event, and I'm not opposed to giving him some money. But as far as I can tell, he doesn't even know where he's spending it. Or he can't tell us.
Find somewhere to spend it. The idea.
I mean, if somebody, where I work, if somebody presented a budget like this and then said, well, that one's wrong, and that one's wrong, and that one's wrong, and that one's wrong,
Where you're at too.
I'd say it's good.
Yeah.
It's not for June.
It's in June 20th, so.
I mean, I think that
I think
he
that's
should
where we need to go. He needs to correct it and fix it.
I mean, I don't think that's
Or
too
if
much.
he didn't put it together in the first place, so who put it together needs to fix it.
That wasn't the gentleman that was here the week prior, was
And
it?
he was here as well tonight, Jim. Hey,
No.
yeah, I think they're both headed out.
I would like to help with advertising if we knew a specific avenue
That's fair.
for it. That's my 2 cents. Plus, I think it does bring out-of-town people here.
And he does a lot of races here that I know that we get a lot of them for, but I think the budget needs to be corrected, and I think we need to establish where the money for advertising is going to be spent. And then I think a final report that we've asked in the past that they
Right.
send it after the racing, because I know they don't have any information, and it has to go out.
Because currently, it says, even if you go off the numbers, it says there's a $7,000 net cash flow. That's all, well, the math is also wrong. But then, so basically, it's whatever, based on what he presented. It looks like whenever we do is a donation.
And that's not what we do.
Correct. So if he can bring us an updated budget and say, okay, I'm gonna put you down for X number of dollars, I'm gonna put that X number of dollars in as an advertising expense as well, and that would give us a better.
Do we want to pick an amount at this point that we'd be willing to give so he can put that in the corrected budget, or are we just going to?
No,
I don't think
not
so.
until we see a corrected budget.
And I'll be happy to approach him and ask for an updated.
In
before we
the
make
April
any-
meeting?
Yeah,
Yeah.
April meeting. If that's okay with you. Okay, moving on to the Hippie Hop 5K walk.
Okay.
One thing is, I don't know if this has been to the school board yet. They have to have approval from the school board to do any activities through the school as far as fundraisers. I'm not quite sure if this is, since she's not here, if it's been approved by the school board.
This race is happening on the 21st.
And the school board is in the group meeting?
I don't know, that's what I'm saying, was gonna be one of my questions.
There's a separate outside group that will have that, but
It's for the school though.
I think that the group, the Gilliam's, was that correct?
It's a
Part of the
nonprofit
FBLA.
organization.
Yeah. So it's not.
But I asked somebody if it still had to be approved by the Board of Education, and it does have to still be approved by the Board of Education for any fundraising.
I'll just reiterate my concerns before. I don't think it.
I think this one should be held.
I think it's admirable, but I just think it misses the mark on tourism.
I agree with that. Because there's a lot of fun.
And if they can build it up and show us that it's doing that, then
Especially in the advertising when they're running magazines and jewelry.
And we have the same problem with the budget.
Right. Same budget, same people, probably.
actually this budget.
Hers is a little bit better.
It's a little bit better, but we're still in net cash flow. With the amount of money that they're asking from us, they're still in net cash flow.
Well, I agree with that too.
It was 1%.
So I would be happy to contact Maria too. I'd book some rooms for her. That would be, and let her know that her advertising, she's headed in that as well for the funding, and if it's approved by the school board for the fundraising.
Did that give her enough time?
It will not.
No, isn't it
And
this
just
week?
glance, I'm sorry.
Isn't it next week?
The
Oh, yeah,
21st.
isn't it? Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Well, it's not this coming weekend, the following weekend.
Well, surely they'd be doing it. They'd cancel it by now if it wasn't a school fund. I'll do that one. I really got that signed because it's 3 weeks away and we have.
And it's really up to the board, unfortunately. I think at this time it's,
What are y'all's thoughts? I mean, I don't think that it was an issue. I don't know about the, is it FBLA that's helping with that with this?
I don't know.
No, I think the only source is separate.
But I think they have somebody with the school that was helping for it, you know. Separate.
I mean, I would agree with everybody else, and it's not really mandatory, and that's out there, so.
Isn't it funny?
Make a motion to pass.
Do I have a second?
So, yeah.
All in favor? Opposed? All right. Moving on to new business. I think from Amir. Sorry, you're right. You didn't mean to do
no,
this.
that's okay, thank you. Just a couple of things, and Premier will be here next month to give a more thorough update and some questions that have came up. But a couple of things I wanted to go over with you guys. They did propose that we may want to look at website updates to upgrade from DNet, from basic hosting to managed hosting. There seems to be maybe some issues with maybe some malicious activity going on. So they recommended that would be a cost. We currently pay $8 a month. That would bump it up to $20 per month to go from the basic hosting package to the managed hosting package. And it includes ongoing monitoring to prevent hackers and malicious activity. And it's highly recommended by DNet and Premier. And then you can contact DNet for further details if we do want to upgrade. So that's something to consider. We don't necessarily have to take action on it tonight, but if the board feels like we should, that's completely within your realm. Another update is we're working on some new blogging content. And then also thoughts for consideration for the board that they'll touch on next week. There is a broken link. It's the visit/shopping. The link is broken. And the site domain that was linked to is no longer available. So the Premier suggestions, resolutions to this could be we can link to the Franklin Chamber, the What to Do shopping, or Premier could create the listings. However, Deanne and Don would need to know what meets the shopping criteria, meaning people can shop for a postage stamp. Do they include all businesses or only businesses in certain criteria? Or what does the board suggest we do to get that fixed? And then we need to do some business inclusions or updates. Should there be something at the bottom of these type pages that states, don't see your Franklin area business, simply submit your request and business details to info@franklinnc.com. And then she also said to note, Premier will continue to update the calendar regularly and comb the site for accuracy and updates on a quarterly basis. And that's all I've got for that. And then I can switch gears a little bit and give you guys your basic updates of what your top cities were and Facebook posts. But is there any questions? Like I said, Deanne and Don will be here next month, and they're much more equipped to talk about this than I can. But hopefully we've got at least the broken link somewhat stable till we can go further.
Directed it to the chamber site.
For now.
Yeah, we need to think about that.
Upon
Chambers are paid, based,
Yeah.
so it's excluding.
And so we would be something that would be free. Extended for this chamber. And they're paying them to do the same. I think that's something they need to answer. 'Cause,
We could have like a listing-based deal and then, advertise it in the community. Say if your business, determine the parameters or whatever we need to determine, and then kind of put it out there and say you can list your business on this website. This is spending a lot of money to push people to it.
Yeah.
I don't want my business.
I'll keep going if you guys don't mind. The top cities for the month of February that visited the website, Durham, number 1, then Franklin, Charlotte, Asheville, Atlanta, Nashville, Clarksville, Tennessee, and Louisville. And then they did some different performance measures, and it's actually increased significantly using the AdWords. It's up 15%. And then the current fan base on the Facebook page, which is a really good statistic, it's up 14% since last year. We're now at 9,088 followers. And then they just included the budget.
Are they basically going to be presenting that next month? Okay.
But in more detail. Yeah.
So we'll just let them talk about that.
If that's
next
okay
month.
with you
Yeah.
guys.
Okay, Allison Outdoor. Okay, electronic billboard.
Have that. In your agenda packet, if you'll notice, part of the contract with Allison Outdoor is that they will provide us free artwork. However, when I was working with Deanne and Dawn on the issues that we were addressing a moment ago, they said that if we wanted to use any of the billboard campaigns that we used in the Atlanta market, or if we want them to design something, they would be glad to work with Allison Outdoor. But this is just kind of one of their proposals as a generic. It's for you guys to decide if you want it or not.
I think we should stick to what we have, be consistent. So they see it somewhere, and they're going to be free or something.
Okay. The 2 that we're running in Atlanta, is that okay? Would you guys feel comfortable if we move forward and had Allison advertise the same artwork? Is that okay with the board?
This is on the electronic billboard.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we need it.
Everybody agreeing on
I think it's
it?
more-
Do we have to have a motion?
I get it. I was trying to gear it more towards people that are actually on the
It's too
doorstep
much for a
versus
billboard.
people that are in Atlanta. I do agree with Stan.
If you guys will make it, if you want the motion to use
So
your
we can
agenda.
have a motion to use what Premier has already used for us in Atlanta.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Okay. Moving on to the minutes.
Okay. Final.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. What you have before you tonight, this is nothing that needs to be voted on. It just has to be presented to you guys a minimum of 30 days prior. What it is, and John Jr. sent this over, a couple things. If you'll look under Article 3 under membership, previously, it's the 4th bullet down. It says 3 members will be appointed by the Town Board of Aldermen to serve a 1-year term. That should actually have always reflected 2 members. So that is a correction there. And then at the town board meeting a week ago today, the town board adopted an official resolution that says, by appointment of the Town Board of Aldermen, the town manager shall be an ex officio member of the board. The town manager's appointment to the board is not limited in numbers of years. The town manager is authorized to appoint a designee who shall attend the meetings and vote on matters before the board at the direction of the town manager. It just gives a little bit more clarification to what we've been discussing. But again, this is just for your information, and it can't be voted on until next month.
So this technically isn't in place. Is it? It's not in place right
It is
now?
in place. It is in place now. It's just, I believe there was some questions that John thought it would be best if we ironed it out more clearly as to what the town manager's role and their designee is, as far as the term limits, because in your current bylaws, it doesn't specify if the manager is a 1-year appointment or if it's indefinite.
So it's, I mean, from what I'm reading, it's an ongoing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It just clarifies, more clarification.
In writing. So we can't vote on that.
Okay.
Any items from the board?
I emailed Summer about the calendar on Discover Franklin. We really need to get some events on there. I don't know if there's a lack of going on right now or what. But I know I'm also sit on the Franklin AT Community Board, and there's several events that I provided a link to.
Thank you.
To send the Premier to get up on the calendar to help content. That's all I have.
And Matt, that link was very helpful, thank you. I forwarded that to Premier, and they'll be glad to add that. I think they're, maybe one or both of them are out of the office for a couple of days. I believe they should be back either tomorrow or Wednesday, so we'll get that resolved.
Yeah, when's the last time you guys went to the website?
Been a long time.
Change that.
Thanks for assignment, guys. Any other items from the board? Okay. The next regularly scheduled TDA meeting is Monday, April 13th at 5:30 here at the town hall. And if we can have a motion.
Move adjourned.
Thank you guys for coming. Thank you. Is that enough stuff, Josh?
What?
Is that enough for you?
I know.
If we keep it at 30 minutes, nobody has more than 4.5 minutes.
There you go.